G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 14 of my Mortar Traps Sorcerer playthrough with OK Boomer here. There's been a few things that I forgot to do last episode, so let's get into those firstly. The first one and the most important one is the Prismatic Diamond, which needs to go on my helmet, which also means I'll be losing some poison, some aether, and some elemental resist. The elemental will be fine. The aether is not great, but it's probably okay. And the poison is also kind of not great, but should be fine. However, where are we? Prismatic Diamond. Now, we need to make an Arcane Spark, which I can't remember if I bought the blueprint for, but it's a Black Legion, I think, blueprint. Radiant Gem, and a Wrathstone. So let's get the easy ones out of the way. There's a Wrathstone. The Radiant Gem requires a Molten Skin, a Dense Fur, and what's the cold one called? No, it's lightning, isn't it? And a rigid shell. And then we can make ourselves a radiant gem. And then, I did not buy the blueprint, so let's jump on over to, we'll go to Homestead. I'm 99% sure, which is going to make it doubly hilarious when I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure that I want to talk to the Black Legion for this. Let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, good. I am correct. We'll go ahead and eat that. We will make ourselves an Arcane Spark. And now we will make ourselves a Prismatic Diamond. Assuming I can click the buttons good and stuff. The other thing I want to make myself is actually a Wardstone. And I will explain why here in a second. Let's go ahead and swap our gear over. Now, I do have a runestone on my helmet. So ideally I would want to keep this for the City of Malmouth stuff, but we're pretty much done there, so I think I am going to be fine with it. We'll keep the item. Unfortunately, deleting the runestone does kind of hurt a little bit. But it's all in the name of getting diamonds. And diamonds are not just a girl's best friend, it's also a boomer's best friend. So we're getting a little bit of vitality resistance, we're getting some energy absorption from enemy spells, which will be helpful, getting some health. But the real reason I want this is the Prismatic Rage. This is a circuit breaker, it's the only one you can get from a component, and basically, when your health goes below half for 8 seconds, you just absorb 130 damage from every individual instance of damage. So every tick of poison, every tick of bleed, every tiny little arrow that bounces off my forehead, all of it going to be reduced by 130. Actually doesn't sound like much, but believe me when I say it adds up. Right, so that's the first change. The second change is I want to put a Wardstone on my amulet, and the reason for that is this. I'm going to be under on bleeding, which this will fix. Now, I'm also under on poison, which this doesn't fix. But, before I get into that, I do want to point out this does have fire to lightning conversion, which is not great. I think, though, that it's going to be fine. We've got elemental resistance shredding, which also works for lightning. We've got no resistance shredding, which also doesn't work for lightning. We've got more elemental, which again is lightning. The only thing is we have a little bit of fire here. It's only 14%. It's probably going to be fine. I'm not going to take the lightning one because this chest will get replaced. But for now, that is just way too big of an increase on armor. Reminder, we get hit in the chest 26%, so 1 in 4 attacks will get hit in the chest for. And this is basically, this is an extra 615 damage reduction every single time I get hit in the chest. So it's an average of 150 less damage from physical damage attacks, which is really, really good. Also, there's the Dawn Shard proc there, which is quite nice. Again, though, Mortar Traps aren't going to trigger that, so it's not amazing, but it's kind of okay. Right, so let's chuck that on there. That's going to fix bleeding. Aether and poison are a little bit not fixed, but I think it'll be okay. I do, of course, want to keep my scaled hide there. And I think we're looking good here. Level 56, don't really get anything cool there. Alright, and the other thing I needed to do 295th complained about this for 2 episodes, and he is correct. I have still not gone and grabbed the devotion shrine that's out here. So let's go ahead and fix that. Also, feeling a little slow. I think I may have... maybe I was actually slowed down there for a second. Alright, devotion shrine. Let's get it. We've got 4 of these bad boys. More than enough damage to take care of this. And yeah, I'll pay a shard for a devotion point. Plunderer's Talisman. Dual wield pistols. Cool, cool. Not really something I'm doing at the moment, but it is good. That's not what I want. I want this one. So we are starting on the Magi. And the reason why is the volcanoes, like I mentioned last episode. The earlier we get this, the faster we can start leveling it. And also, I mean, who doesn't want volcanoes? That sounds pretty good to me. Right, we do have one last thing to do in the city of Malmouth. So let's head on over to the Black Iron Docks. And I am going to be skipping a decent amount of this stuff here. I'm just going to be trying to get through this a little bit here. Because the Black Iron Docks are miles away. And I do like free XP, so there is that. And nothing on the way is going to make this any kind of easier or faster, so we can just, you know, throw the occasional mortar traps down. Hopefully they don't bounce off the roof and explode inside. That would be very inconvenient. Also, did I? No, I did not blow up the detonation site, so we get to take the scenic route. We'll just keep throwing mortar traps down as we go. I will have to, of course, take care of old mate here, Oppressius. I mean, with a name like that, how could I not kill him? But he is made of reputation, which I do want to get my hands on as much as I can. What's the quickest way? It's probably to go around Chaos Corner here, so let's go ahead and do that. Also, I need to immediately stop what I'm doing and go and grab the writ. So I did see Honored with the city of Malmouth, or the Resistance. So I need to get the writ here. And we may as well eat all of those. Also at Honored we get a few augments, which I can't use just yet. And we get, I think this is Nightblade and Inquisitor belts, is it? Demolitionist belts. Okay. Okay. Aether and Vitality Resistance. Level 90. The level 90 part, that does kind of hurt. However, here's one at 65, which still has Vitality and Aether Resistance, which would be quite nice, considering my current belt has 2% Physique, 45 regen, and +1 to demo skills. Yeah, I would like to do that, but if I buy it now, I'm just going to forget it later. I mean, let's be honest, if I don't buy it now, I'm also going to forget it later. But at least if I forget it later without having bought it, I haven't spent the iron bits. So we're going to just leave that. I do see you there, Mr. or Mrs. Ornasteria. That is definitely one of the names of all time. We'll go ahead and grab this. Ascendant Cowl, once again, actually quite rare, those helmets. And I imagine that next time I play a pet build, I'm not going to be able to find them. Alright, we've got a few things to kill here, and we may as well. It is a big crowd. Running around with 73% Aether resistance is not ideal in a city full of Aether damage. Let's maybe not stand in the goop. There we go, everybody is rightfully exploded. And we'll throw the thermite mines out, and then we just let the mortars rain down. Chadris the Coldheart, alright, cool, everybody's nice and dead. Alright, so, the Black Iron Docks. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, and we will, because we ran all the way here, is to murder everything to death in this entire area. Well, not quite everything in the entire area, but, you know, most of it. A large percentage of it. so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll throw the thermite mines out. That'll get us some elemental storms on the go. Nice amounts of resistance shredding. And we're going to turn the loot off. And then 3, 4 mortars. And now I just kind of sit back and wait. I might even drink a potion, why not? This is the part, though, where I want to move my mortars. 4 mortar traps down. And we want to pound this. Now, there is an arcane enemy that's going to come out of here, who I want to target down. He should be in the next wave, I believe. Could be wrong there. It's burning. Maybe that's an ultimate thing. Ah, there he is. And there he goes. Didn't actually get to see very much of him before he was exploded, which is fine. I like it when they explode. And we have picked up the Falcon's Claw. Lightning stuff on attack. Okay. Storm charge of the Eagle and a shield. Beautiful. So we are actually done with the city of Malmouth. And it is time to go and get started on Forgotten Gods. So let's turn this in. The docks belong to us. This is unusual. You don't normally get the council in normal difficulty. Probably all that Turnox farming, actually. That I am not going to be wearing. Okay, well, let's just put a hold on Forgotten Gods for a second, and we'll go blow up the council. They are fairly close. There's not that much running involved in getting to them. So that is definitely good. And once again, I'm going to skip a good amount of the trash, as it were, on the road to the council. There we go. Everybody can have their own little mortar shower. Well, obviously, I want the Aether Shard. And in we go. Now, the council itself is not really all that scary. Generally speaking, I would say they are more tanky than they are actually dangerous. But, you know, you might have some issues with them, maybe. Definitely should not. But should not is not the same as will not. Here we go, getting Black Legion reputation as well. Let me actually have a quick look here. Are there any other factions I'm honored with that I need to go and talk to? And the answer is yes. I should have done this while I was there before, but hey, better late than never, right? Okay, and that is a huge amount of reputation from memory. Alright, honored. Let's go ahead and grab that. What do we got here? Nothing I want, I'm sure. Nope. Yeah, the great thing about honored for these guys is they have weapon augments. Now, I already have weapon augments, but it's damage to ethereals, which I'm not really going to be messing with too much going forward. Chaos resistant % fire damage is probably okay. The armor is also probably okay. Armor and stun resist is probably better. Offensive ability, all damage defensive. I think I'll just leave it for now. There definitely are better augments than what I have, but it's fine. Alright, let's go say hello to the council. Now, they have got an additional 8% total health, which I don't love. It means everything is just going to take longer to die. Although, having said that, 8% additional health on trash mobs, probably not making a big enough difference to be noticeable. Likely not going to be adding an extra mortar shot. Oops, I did trigger him indeed. Alright, 1, 2, 3... 4 thermite mines are out, and we turn the beam on. Ideally, I want them to be all in the same side of me. Alright, 1's down, 2's down. So old mate here, Alba and Rain. It's a very strange name. He's got the crystals around him. Basically means that he is going to be extra obnoxious to kill. Maybe move him a little bit inside the thermite mines. There he goes. We are shredding so much resistance that they are just taking gobsmackingly large amounts of damage. Yes, that is a technical term. Alright, we got more mortars coming. These guys also are going to have all of the crystals because they were over here when the bosses died. We can shoot up through solid walls, but you can't shoot down for some reason, because of reasons. Alright, let's grab the loot, and then we're going to go start Forgotten Gods. Alright, there we go. Is there anything in here I want? Not really. I mean, there is the hidden loot, but it's not amazing. That's alright. Free stuff. Hooray, everybody. Right, we have a quest turn-in. Actually, a couple of them, so we'll go get that done. And then we're going to start Forgotten Gods. Okay, so we picked up the Illusionist Mark. Elemental Balance is okay. Actually, is that that's the third node on the Nightblade heal, isn't it? Or is it this one? I can't remember. Or this one? That is that one. I don't know why I didn't eat that, but it's done now. Right, where did that mark go? So, is this actually worth using? The answer, I think, is no. The Kaiman's badge that I have has regeneration bonuses, which is nice, but more importantly has 3 resistances, so that is going to be hard to replace. So, definitely not using that. And we have some skill points here. I kind of want to take a point out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we'll go to the Coven's Refuge. We'll take that point out. Having 11 in here doesn't get you an extra point of maximum all res. So while it is not wasted, it's not optimal. So we'll leave that at 10. We'll bump this up. This is at 15. One more point in here, and that will be giving us the maximum amount of benefits. Looks like it's actually getting some extra scaling after the soft cap, which is nice. And physique 30, spirit 21. We'll put some more in spirit. Okay, Barnabas. Now that quest to cleanse the ancient grove, I'm just not doing it. That quest will be there from now until the end of time, because Gargle Balls, as much as I probably could just kite him around and wait for him to die, he is pretty dangerous, and I don't recommend going anywhere near him just because there's no benefit at all. There's nothing he drops that's actually useful, so it's just potential death, and a good chance of potential death for no benefit. Also, in the name of grabbing all of the totally normal weapons, we do also have this one. This is the Oathkeeper one. They do get a second class in the Elite version, the level 75 version. Then there's also the level 94 one. So this one's +1 Oathkeeper and triggers on block. I think they all trigger on block, actually. Yeah. Anyway, can't put that... I mean, I can put it on, but I can't use it as an actual shield. Alright, let's go see where I got up to in terms of these guys. I don't know that I really got up to anywhere. I probably came in here, joined Soleil, and bought some movement skills, or bought the movement skill, and then that was it. I'm going to sell that. I'm just not going to use it. I don't have Oathkeeper as one of my masteries, so there's no point at all. Right, let's pick up some quests here. Kaisen, if that really is your name, I will find your artifacts. And then Sagan. And of course, Riken. How could I forget you? Okay, so we are getting the Eye of Eker, which is, or Eker, or however you say that. That's going to be in the Temple of Osea. Find the Soleil Aspirants, which is going to be just past that. And cleanse the Ancient Grove, which is a different expansion and also not being done. Alright, so let's get through this. We can, of course, drop mortars as we go. It's probably not a horrible idea to get some extra XP. So let's do that. Also, I do see you there, Mr. Bargox, or Bargo. Maybe he's French, or at least fancy. I don't know if that's actually French. Maybe the X is silent. Maybe the B is silent and it's actually Argox. Who knows? Anyway, we'll get through here. I'm largely going to stop for heroes and not much else. There isn't a whole lot... Ooh, I'll take that. There isn't a whole lot of just kind of stuff that's relevant through most of this expansion. So I think I'm just going to hit up the quests as we go. And obviously Noel here has got to go. There we go. Beautiful. Excuse me, you're in the way. Now there is obviously stuff over here, like there's this here is actually an area you can go into. It's full of these beetles from memory. So there is stuff you can do for sure, but in terms of relevant things, usually you just walk past a lot of this stuff. Obviously, I mean, kill it, sure, it's made out of XP and loot. But quest-wise, we're just going to the temple. Okay, I do want to check up here. Nope, I'm in the wrong spot in my head. So it is definitely true that I do want to check up here, but it was for special chest, which actually, does that chest spawn on normal? I can't remember. I think it does. Don't quote me on that. I'm certainly not going to be spawning Kalagadra, even if I do get my hands on the item to do it. I didn't want to fight Gargle Balls because he'd potentially kill me. I double don't want to fight Kalagadra for the same reason. Let's go ahead and eat the lore note there. And we have nearly made it to the temple. We'll just keep plopping down mortars here. Put a couple up on the high ground. Doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is the range, which is fine. We'll go through here, and we have made it. Alright, so Temple of Osea Rift, and we do have to acquire the eye, so we are going to have to go inside, which is fine. Best place in the game for a Primal Strike Shaman, assuming you're playing melee. This guy, not so much, but if he had a silver, or I think it's blue actually, a blue weapon, that is the Primal Strike Lightning two-handed weapon, and it is really, really good. When I say it's really good, I mean like it's rivaling level 94 legendary weapons, specifically designed for Lightning Shamans. So it is incredibly good for that build. Another fire one. You will mostly get fire in this place. The chances of getting a lightning one is usually about 1 in every 4 runs through the entire temple. You'll see one. So now that I've said that, watch this guy have one. Nope, nope. This little section here can be quite rippy. Just at the top of this little section, potentially there's a pack of heroes just here, and can be quite dangerous. So do keep that in mind. Make sure your resistances are good before you come here, or, I mean, be prepared to just take silly amounts of damage if you don't. Are you lightning? No, you're fire. I'm going to keep popping these guys up until I find a lightning one. Or until I leave. Alright, let's head down. So, second floor, we have a devotion shrine that I want to get my hands on, because more devotion points is more better. Also, just down here, there's 2 statues, which, I mean, I could go back. It must be on either side of that door, actually. I don't think I'm going to. Resistant of corrosion, Aether to Vitality conversion, bad resists, so obviously no. Alright, we'll have to go across this little bridge. Likely I'm going to have to double back here, but there is potentially a treasure trove in this little section. And also, these guys are worth checking out. Not because they have anything I want, more because I've said that they potentially have the Primal Strike weapon, and I just want to show it Chances are, though, I'm not actually going to get to see it. That's fine. Alright, we got a couple heroes down here, or at least a hero. So we'll just drag them up here a bit. And I'm going to turn the loot off, because it's Devotion Shrine o'clock. Alright, lovely. Turn the loot back on. The Alchemist's Mantle. And a whole bunch of greens. That's fine. More importantly, though, we have the second piece of the Magi, which it's just not very good. 15 defensive ability is basically just a blank line. It's about as effective. And 8% LE res is kind of who cares at this point. I mean, I'll take it, don't get me wrong, but it's not particularly impressive. Alright, and we'll throw down a couple more mortars here. Arcanux gets to die. There we go. Corvin Helm. Actually, good resistances on that. Let me have a look at that. Right, let's have a bit of a look here. Poison I need. Aether, I actually need more Aether than just 18%. With the Chaos, I could definitely swap. This has got more armor on it by 100. It's got less health, though. That's definitely not a bad helmet. I think, however, the Black Legion helmet is just a tiny bit better. Lucky last? No, unlucky. Unlucky last. Alright, so Old Mate in here is actually a little bit dangerous. So there's a lot of lightning flying around, but these orbs, more or less, we're going to out-regenerate, so it's kind of a who cares situation. However, Ramzul, the High Priest of Osea, is a different story. I had to beat him to death with his own shoes. I don't know why that little line just popped into my head, but great movie. If you know, you know. Alright, here is Ramzul, the High Priest, and here is the mirror. This is my Know You button. There we go. And here is the Eye of Eker, Eye of someone. Some sort of Cyclops. And we are done here. So, I know he didn't look particularly difficult, and that's mostly because the difficult is, in my mind, at level 30. Or level 23, or whatever it is when you normally get here if you come here straight after Act 1. So, probably he's not actually all that difficult, and I'm just suffering from a very, very mild form of PTSD. Something, where did my Nightblade go? Alright, Tutenton, down he goes. One of the great things about Forgotten Gods is that it is quite short, and there are a lot of devotion shrines in here, so let's head out the back here. For those who've never been here before, the Rift Gate for the Temple of Osea is here, and then this is the actual temple. You come out here, and then off the map just here we have a devotion shrine. Hooray, everybody. Vengeance as a blueprint. Okay. That is +1 to Inquisitor skills. Great. The other thing in here that you want to pick up and hang on to is Leovinus Ring. This is a 3% additional XP ring, which, I mean, if you want to level up a bit quicker, can be worth hanging on to. The main draw of this, though, is level 10 required, so they're good for leveling alts. Shell-shocked Epaulets, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, +2 to Heavy Ordnance. Honestly, if I didn't take the +2 to Mortar Trap from the previous shoulders, I'm pretty unlikely to be taking the +2 to Shell Shock from this one. And I should definitely spend this. There we go. A little bit of extra energy regen. More defensive ability, which, I mean, I think I mentioned it, but I just do not care for defensive ability. I mean, having said that, I have actually got a good amount of it. So we're just going to pretend that that I don't have any. It's one of those stats, and I do give it a lot of crap. it's a stat that you will just kind of have enough of while you're leveling. It's pretty rare that you don't just have enough to not get crit. I mean, even if you do get crit, it doesn't matter. Outside of Shattered Realm, probably something in the 20s before it matters at all. And Celestials in the campaign are literally the only things it matters for. Anything else, if you get crit, you're taking 10% extra damage. I mean, who cares? 10% extra damage from everything is probably less than the extra damage you take going from normal to veteran. So, kind of just doesn't matter. Let's see if I can drop this down there. Can indeed. There we go. We got 4 mortars on the low ground. You're going to have to die by the fire beam. There we go. Maybe you can use, what are they called? Thermite mines. Maybe they can be a main damage type. Someone try that. Someone who's not me. I don't have time. Scorcher's Archive, +1 to demo. On the offhand. I think I had this before, didn't I? Either way, that is actually pretty good for a canister bomb build. At least while leveling. Assuming there's no monster infrequent that locks the slot out. Which there definitely could be. How you doing there, Drolig? I have some presents for you. They do explode though. Alright, let's push forward again. What else do I have to do? I've got the aspirants. I think the next thing they're going to do is send me to... is it the Vanguard next? No, there's 2 quests, right? Why am I blanking on the second quest? That's not right. Alright, we're just going to leave 2 mortars down there. It would be rude not to play with the Corvin Titanivore. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the Sunder? There it is. Just stay in melee range so he stays in the thermite mine. Sunder? Nope. Okay, beautiful. Shadow's Grasp, Eastern... Is that Robes? Yeah, Eastern Robes. Another set that you'll never find while you're actually playing a Trojan Sky Shard build. Okay, let's lure everybody over here. Come and stand next to the boomsticks. There we go. I'm not farming for pistols here, which is good. We do have right here the altar to farm, well, I say farm, to summon Caligadra. Good luck farming her while leveling. Also, you can't get the helmet, except on ultimate. I think the... You know what? I don't know if Caligadra has a blue helmet. I know you definitely don't get the purple one on normal difficulty, but I don't know if she has a blue helmet. I'm going to look that up. There we go. Caligadra. I've probably spelled that wrong. I have. It's 2 L's, isn't it? Yep. There is a blue helmet. How about that? Level 75. Still has the +1 to all skills on it, though, so maybe I should go kill it. I mean, not that I think I could. So this is just Thermite Mine, which is actually doing alright. How about that? Maybe Thermite Mine is not just a utility skill, maybe it can be a damage skill. Alright, so while we're going through here, things to look out for. There is a bunch of different armor sets through here. The Corvin plating and pauldrons and all that sort of stuff, which may be useful. Do watch out for the shoulders that have elemental to, I think, vitality. But whatever it actually is, be careful of damage conversion when you're looking at shoulders. Especially shoulders, shoulders and belts, usually. Alright. And it's probably not a terrible idea to actually go back to town and turn this quest in. Let's see if I can't get myself kind of one-tapped by all this stuff hitting me relatively hard. Disappointing. There is a devotion shrine actually in the top left, so I will have to come back here anyway. Alright, more homestead reputation. Cult of Bismeal. Okay, more cult stuff, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snack a potion. And jumped back through my rift. Alright, so I do, like I said, I have to go back for the Devotion Shrine. It's not terribly far back this way, so we'll just go and do it.
That skill's not ready.
And nope, we're skipping that. Alright, here we go. Everybody gets mortars. And I think they're mostly dead now. Cool. See the Devotion Shrine up here. Desecrated Shrine. Hiding behind the north symbol there. And I'm going to turn the loot off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bunch of these. And let's pop it like it's hot. And just stand back and watch. I only got 3 of these again. I think I took the ring off, didn't I? Okay, Compelled Wraith is not horrible, is it? Oh, that was the Blackwater cocktail item, yeah. It's not particularly great either. Okay, the Magi. Now, you could take the helmet here for a bunch of extra flat fire damage, but we don't really do weapon damage, so this isn't very good. You could take this one for casting speed, physique, and burn damage, but again, no. I'm going to take this one for a whole bunch of burn damage that I can't apply. Mostly because it gets us closer to Fisher earlier. So next Devotion Shrine, we will have Fisher, and then we finish the Magi. Alright, I do have some quests to turn in here, so let's go ahead and do that.
That skill's not ready.
Here's Riken. Here it is. What's all that? I will cull your ranks. You there, you look like someone who needs to die. Please make that happen. Maurice, you also... no, I'm not really sorry to do this. I don't know quite why you were moaning like that, but sure, why not? And you know what? Alita. Hang on. Choose the third sacrifice. Kate? Why can't I sacrifice them? I guess I have to go for guards. Alright. Goodbye, Vicken. There we go. Alright, cool. You are done. You're all done. Let's go talk to old mate down here. And by talk to, I mean we'll line up some boomsticks. We'll put some thermite on the ground, and goodbye. There we go. You fought well. You've proven your worth. Yep, you passed the test. Good job. Okay, Kaisen, they are worthy. Just don't expect me to go rescue them. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so yes, our next mission is to get to the Vanguard of the 3. Before that, though, we do have to rescue Anorak's brothers. Not so much because I'm particularly like Anorak. It's more because there's a devotion shrine in there. There's also an exalted stash. There's also a whole bunch of things that are made out of XP, and yeah, it's just there's yummy stuff in there.
Can't do that yet.
Let's just get rid of the tails first. Anorak's journal up here. Obviously, I want that because it's free XP, and then we can talk to Arl here. Anorak sent me, and you get in the Rift Gate. Okay, so the only things I really care about in here is the Exalted Stash if I find it, and the Devotion Shrine, and obviously the boss at the end. I did, however, just spot that, well, there's my Exalted Stash, so that's good. I did just spot that totem, so I'm thinking about having to go do that as well. Alright, Exalted Stash collected. We'll go get this totem, we'll go down to the second level, get the Devotion Shrine. And Rob will be your father's brother. Alright, that died very, very quickly. Empowered Plague Mancer's Amulet. Let's actually go through and eat all of the lore notes here. And I'm running out of inventory space, so I may have to take a quick trip back home. Let's do that now. So I'm just going to vendor pretty much everything here. Don't think there's anything I particularly care to keep. That ring... I really wish it wasn't on a diamond signet. That ring is crazy good resistances. I really wish it was on a Goalless ring. Anyway, that's fine. We'll get rid of this. I will buy that back because I didn't mean to sell it. So I'm going to recommend keeping the Leovinus ring. If you have a second character, it's definitely worth putting it on at level 10. 3% XP does add up for sure. Obviously, I prefer to play my characters solo self-found. Or solo character found, I think is the new way to say that. But, yeah, they have to find their own stuff. Okay, let's go blap the boss in here, and also get that devotion shrine, more importantly. Let's be honest, the devotion shrine's the only reason I'm actually here. Okay, speak of the devil. 1, 2, 3 mortars. I should probably actually swap this in, if I can. I cannot. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want that extra mortar anyway. And I definitely shouldn't have been doing that in the middle of a fight. That was actually quite silly. But hey, I never claimed to be good at the game. Right, Eldritch Essence is definitely good. Fiend Scale Jacket could be good. From memory, it's got decent armor on it. What do we got here? Turns out my memory is faulty. That armor is not good. It does have Fizz Res. It does have good health. It has Aether Resistance instead of Chaos. And the Contagion when you get hit is not useless. It's probably the best thing I can say for it. Yeah, I think I want to keep the current one. It's definitely not great, but I want to keep the current one. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to put this on Conflagration. I just don't have another thing to put it on. Soleil's Witchblade thing here is way more important. So is Elemental Storm. So these have to go on the beam. Let's see if I can get one to trigger here. Yep, we've got one. So little volcano there on the stairs, spitting out little fire things. We can probably get a couple of them at a time. We've got 2 there. So it definitely adds up. Alright, so I've already got the Exalted Stash. Let's just go and say hello to the boss. We can ignore all this. 1, 2, 3 of those. Let's see if we can get a little volcano to come out. Almost certainly got one there. Beautiful. What is the cooldown on that, actually? 1.5 seconds. So potentially I could have 3. Which is... that's okay. Alright, mortars go. Now, the boss here, Turgon the Mad Priest, has 2 stages, and basically you want to avoid rushing him in his first stage because that is not something you want to get hit by as like a shotgun type attack. Alright, let's get into melee range. There we go. So we've got the mortars going, we've got the beam going, we've got volcanoes underneath him, we've got elemental storm, we've got thermite mines. We can actually stack a good bit of damage on one spot. And once we're done, I guess one more point here, and then we are heading for devastation. There's a few other things on the way, like I'll definitely chuck 1 point in here and here. And obviously all the passives on the bottom, but Devastation is the next sort of main skill that we're going for. Devastation being an Aether and Fire Meteor Storm. So more stuff falling from above. It's going to be great. Right, we are done here, so let's go turn this in. And then we can probably get to the Vanguard of the 3 today, I think.
Come see what's left of my wares.
What was that, actually? Warmaster's Pride. Okay, this is the empowered version of the Warmaster's Pride. Is this the one I had? I can't remember what it was called. I think this was the one I had earlier, so pretty sure I've grabbed both of those now. This has no resistances. It has a proc that triggers when you block things. It's not great. Right, Anorak's over this way, so we'll go talk to him. There we go. Okay, and we'll say farewell, and then we'll jump on over to the Cairn Docks Rift, and we are heading east. We have another devotion shrine to collect. Okay, I was going to say I'm very surprised I didn't get a volcano proc there, but turns out I did. We also have the Transmute book, which is over here somewhere. Should be kind of around the corner here. Let's see if that takes care of them. There's level 58, which means we are hard capped on Vindictive Flame. So lots of regeneration there. Tome of Eonatum is definitely what I was after. Okay. Volcanoes doing volcano things. And I think we go up this way. I can never remember exactly where the tower here is, or the dungeon I need to get into. I'm pretty sure it's over this way. Alright, there is the trap pants. These are the biggest trap in the game while leveling, and I will absolutely be falling into that trap, assuming I can get the physique required to put them on. So +2 to Maven Sphere on its own is really, really good. +2 to Searing Light, I may end up taking that, is definitely not bad as well. But this basically solves your Aether and your Elemental resistance problems. I think that Aether Res roll is low. Let me actually check what the range there is. So we are talking Mistwalker. Yeah, Empowered Mistwalker leggings, up to 39% on Aether. That is actually the minimum roll on Aether. And it's fairly close to the max roll on Elemental. So pretty good max roll on Fizz there. Minimum roll on move speed. Spirit is right in the middle, and that is the maximum roll on physique as well. So if I can get another 30 points of physique, then I can put this on. Do I have an item with 30 points of physique? I don't think so. That's fine. When I find it, I will equip it. Otherwise, I'll just keep putting points in physique as I level. Alright, here is the Ruin entrance. We're going into the Ruin, the Sanctuary of Haran. After here, we'll be getting into the Canyon of the Magi. It can't just be me who remembers the Arcane Sanctuary. It's definitely a thing, right? Tell me it's not just me. Alright, volcanoes for everybody. Please go away now. And we can throw some mortars down there. Just upset the locals. Maybe kill a few of them before I actually get there. And we can do the same thing here, although it's not really before I get there for these ones. Impervious of Soleil's Malice is not terrible. Also, if you remember a couple episodes back, and probably a few times now, I've mentioned that regeneration builds are a really good way to be completely immortal until you die. I am well and truly stuck in that trap at the moment, because I wasn't even thinking about those guys while I was looking at those pants. Take that out of context, I dare you. Right, let's go ahead and set these up. 1, 2, 3, one there, one there. Let's see if we get gargoyles. Yes, we do. Okay, beautiful. We got 2 hero gargoyles. Thermite mines for both of you. And we've got the gargoyle girdle, which actually is Oathkeeper and Nightblade from memory. Alright, what is next? Because I don't really need to finish the Magi, do I? The ghoul is going to be next. So what I might do is, instead of actually straight up finishing this, because, I mean, the 40% fire damage is okay, it's not bad. And then for 50% burn, oh, that's physique. I have to take the physique, right? What I was going to do is get the ghoulish hunger proc faster, but I think I'll take the physique. Actually, do we get physique from the ghoul? We do. Hey, that's 30 physique. I know someone who needs that. Okay, we do have a boss at the end here. I mean, I flatter him to call him, or her, it. I flatter it to call it a boss. Fordrig, indeed. Nivan the Usurper. Dead. Boulder's set is not horrible. This is obviously like bleed / physical damage, but the armor on it is good, and the resistances on it are potentially useful. I guess that's the best I have to say about it. It's a good set for keeping, for leveling physical or bleed builds. That's kind of it. It's a good set. There we go. All right. This is a dead end that I've successfully found. I mean, it's not a dead end. I was rounding these guys up. Okay, I can't say it with a straight face. Totally just ran into a dead end. That's fine. This is where I was actually thinking I was down here. Anyway. Alright, we've got some Bismeal peoples. We got a whole bunch of these dudes. The snakes. Which, I'm gonna kill just out of malice. Actually, from the pistol farming. And I don't normally stop for Ganavakar, but we may as well this time. Eventually I'm going to have to remake that Dervish, which is one of the first builds I made on the channel, that used Ganavakar as weapons. Speaking of the devil, here he is. See the... I gotta watch for the Sunder here. Also, my health was definitely falling there, so we encountered a situation that was potentially fatal. Managed to not die, which is good. Okay, Praetorian Shoulder Guard. I think that is all 3 pieces. There's another Anchorite's helmet. Whether that is exactly all 3 pieces, I have 3 pieces, so I can go and swap this over. Let's just have a look. Now, my gear is kind of okay, so I maybe don't need to anymore. Yeah, I've got the whole set now. This is another set that is absolutely worth keeping. But we will be looking at a downgrade in armor. We will be looking at a very slight upgrade in armor. And we will be looking at quite a large downgrade in armor. Having said that, this is pretty much every resistance type. Let's just chuck them on and see what happens. Okay, can't put it in the shed stash. So, resistance-wise, actually pretty much the same. If I put the Silk Swatch back on, that's going to fix bleeding. And then, yeah, I would be 2% under on Aether. Now, what does this actually get me? In terms of damage, Life Blaze is kind of whatever. Dawn Shard is actually not easy to trigger. Maybe I should make this swap. Let's have a look here. 793 average armor versus 933. Ooh. I think I'm going to leave it. Having said that, having that complete set is really good. If you are playing your first character, definitely hang on to that set if you get it. There's a few sets like that that are absolutely worth keeping. for your next character, even if you don't actually use it on this character. It's really, really good. Okay. Why am I coming over here? That's right, the transmute book. Okay, cool. There we go. So we can turn that in, get some XP. Still sitting on that one skill point, which I probably should spend. There we go. And I think, yeah. I think I'm going to get up to the Vanguard of the 3 and then call it a day. So if you're only watching for that sort of content, then I'm going to walk through here, kill a few things, and then I'll be there. And if you want to keep watching, obviously for the cutting commentary and supreme wit, then happy to have you. Alright, we'll get through here. There is some loot kind of hidden off the walls here, I think, from memory. I'm not 100% sure on where it is, though, and I don't really feel like I have the time to kind of search. So we will go through here. I'm skipping the little hidden area off to the side there. I don't think I need the access quest for Tomb of the Heretic just yet. Also, let's see if the big cold doggy is home. Fisher rank 2, love to see that. And nope, I don't think he's here today. One thing I will be doing though is going behind this tree, walking up the cliffs and getting the hidden spoils. Unfortunately no blue items, or better yet purple. I could use some purple gloves. Worm scale would actually be amazing right now. Go with my boots. Alright, and we have made it to the Vanguard of the 3. Let's go ahead and grab this one. And this is where I'm going to leave it for today. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. And goodbye for now.